Jai. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Parakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabaduktam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Param Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakam Vitamscha Om Jnanatirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmae Shri Gurave Namaha Cha Kalpataruvyascha Kripa Sindhuvya Evacha Patitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha Dayai Tulasi Devyai Priyayai Kesavasyacha Krishna Bhakti Pradi Devi Satya Vatya Namo Namaha Sakala Vaishnava Parimura Namaskar Ite Kichua Pardanahu Kamara Oyachennoivem Prabhu Jakta Bhaktajan Bandana Kuriyami Savaracharana. I respectfully bow to the lotus feet of all the Vaishnavas, praying that there is no offense in my attempt to please them. To all Vaishnavas who have been and all Vaishnavas who shall be, I offer my obeisances to their lotus feet. Jai Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupa Srila Bhakti Raka Srila Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupa Srila Isi Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Dandavat, dear devotees, thank you for your time and for your patience. Today we're just going to read half of the time because we were late today. Jai Shri Chaitanya Charitamrta Ki Jai. Jai Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Ki Jai. Jai Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Today we're reading chapter 2, which Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj describes it as an auspicious vibration that describes the absolute truth. We have been reading about the different realizations of the absolute truth in personal Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. And now we're going to continue reading we're going to continue reading about the absolute truth. We were reading about the conversation between Lord Brahma and Sri Krishna, where we learned about the super soul, Narayan, and the expansions of Narayan. It's very technical and very profound that I'm not qualified to explain at all. Let's just read. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Text 65. Advaya Jnana Tadvavastu Krishna Svarupa Brahmatma Bhagavan Tinatandra Rupa. Lord Krishna himself is the one undivided absolute truth, the ultimate reality. He manifests himself in three features as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Purport. In the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam cited above, the principal word Bhagavan indicates the personality of Godhead, and Brahman and Paramatma are concomitants deduced from the absolute personality. As a government and its ministers are deductions from the Supreme Executive Head. In other words, the principal truth is exhibited in three different phases. The absolute truth, the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna Bhagavan, is also known as Brahman and Paramatma, although all these features are identical. Text 66. Aishlokkarate tumi hailani nirvachana ara ekashuna bhagavatera vachana. Translation. The import of this verse has stopped you from arguing. Now listen to another verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Jaya Mahaprabhu. Text 67. Ete kamsha kalahapumsaha Krishnastu Bhagavan Svayam Indrari Vyakulam Lokam Mridayanti Yuge Yuge. All these incarnations of Godhead are either plenary portions of parts or parts of the plenary portions of the Purusha avatars. But Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself. In every age, He protects the world through His different features when the world is disturbed by the enemies of Indra. Purport. This statement of Srimad Bhagavatam definitely negates the concept that Sri Krishna is an avatara of Vishnu or Narayana. Lord Sri Krishna is the original personality of Godhead, the supreme cause of all causes. This verse clearly indicates that incarnations of the personality of Godhead, such as Sri Ram, Nrsimha, and Varaha, all undoubtedly belong to the Vishnu group. But all of them are either plenary portions or portions of plenary portions of the original personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. Text 68. Sava avatare ra kari samanya lakshana taramadya Krishna chandrera kari laganana. The Bhagavatam describes the symptoms and deeds of the incarnations in general and counts Sri Krishna among them. Text 69. Tave sutta gosani mane panapata baya yaraye lakshanataha karila nishchaya. This made Sutta Goswami greatly apprehensive. Therefore, he distinguished each incarnation by its specific symptoms. Text 70. Avatara Sava Purushera Kalla Amsha Svayam Bhagavan Krishna Sarva Avatamsa. All the incarnations of Godhead are plenary portions or parts of plenary portions of the Purusha avatars. But the primeval Lord is Sri Krishna. He is the Supreme Personality of the Godhead, the fountainhead of all incarnations. Text 71. Purva Paksha Kahe Tumara Vala Tad Vyakyana Parabhyuma Narayana Isvayan Bhagavam. An opponent may say, this is your interpretation, but actually, the Supreme Lord is Narayana, who is in the transcendental realm. Text 72. Tanka si Krishna rupe karena avatara e arta shloke dehi kiyara vichara. He, Narayan, incarnates as Lord Krishna. This is the meaning of the verse as I see it. There is no need for further consideration. Text 73. Tare kahe kene kara kutarka numana shastra viruddarta kabu nahaya pramana. To such a misguided interpreter, we may reply, why should you suggest such fallacious logic? An interpretation is never accepted as evidence if it opposes the principles of Scripture. Text 74. Anubadam anutvatu nabideyam udirayet nahi alabadashpadam kinchit kutrachit pa pratitishtati. Translation. One should not state a predicate before its subject. for it cannot thus stand without proper support. One should not state a predicate before its subject, for it cannot thus stand without proper purport. This rhetorical rule appears in the Ekadashi Tattva, 13th canto, in connection with the metaphorical use of words. An unknown object should not be put before the known subject, because the object has no meaning if the subject is not first given. Do you understand that, Damodar Prabhu? What? I'm going to read it again. This is the translation of the verse. One should not state a predicate before its subject, for it cannot thus stand without proper support. And then the purport. This rhetorical rule appears in the Ekadashi Tattva, 13th canto, in connection with the metaphorical use of words. An unknown object should not be put before the known subject, because the object has no meaning if the subject is not first given. Text 75. Anuvada nakahiya nakahi bideya agyanuvada kahi paschad bideya. If I do not state a subject, I do not state a predicate. First I speak the former and then I speak the later. Translation. The predicate of a sentence is what is unknown to the reader, whereas the subject is what is known to him. Text 77. Yaiche kahiv ei vipra paramatma pandita vipra anuvadai harabideya panditya. For example, we may say, this vipra is a greatly learned man. In this sentence, the vipra is the subject and the predicate is his erudition. Text 78. Vipradva vikyata tara panditya agyata atayvera viprage panditya pashkada. The man's being a vipra is known, but his erudition is unknown. Therefore, the person is identified first and his erudition later. Text 79. Taichain ha avatara savai lagyata kara avatara evastu abhigyata. In the same way, all these incarnations were known, but whose incarnations they are was unknown. Text 80. Ete sabbe avatarira age anubada Purusharam Shapache Videya Sambada. Translation. First, the word ete, meaning this, establishes the subject, meaning their incarnations. Then, plenary portions of the Purusha avatars follows as a predicate. Text 81. Taiche Krishna avatara bitare hailagyata Tanhara vishesha jnana se abhigyata. In the same way, when Krishna was first counted among the incarnations, a specific knowledge about him was still unknown. Text 82. Ataiva Krishna sabdage anubada svayam bhagavata piche videya sambada. Therefore, first the word Krishna appears as the subject, followed by the predicate, describing him as the original personality of Godhead. Text 83. Krishnera svayam bhagavata ihal haila sadhya Svayam Bhagavan Nira Krishnatva Haila Badya. Translation. This establishes that Sri Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. The original personality of Godhead is therefore necessarily Krishna. Jai Shri Chaitanya Charitamrta ki Jai. Jai Shri Krishna Das Kaviraj ki Jai. Jai Srila Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Now we're going to read Centenary Anthology, Pastimes, Glories, and Teachings of His Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Raka Srila Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. We were reading that the pastimes when Srila Guru Maharaj first joined the Gaudiya Math of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And we were hearing that a brahmachari wouldn't let Srila Guru Maharaj hear and associate from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And at first, Srila Guru Maharaj thought that attitude of that brahmachari was harsh. But then he remembered the pastimes of of the Srimad Bhagavatam, when Srila Sukadev Goswami was also held for 49 days before he spoke to Janak. So Srila Guru Maharaj decided to wait and not take that personally, giving us a lesson of patience. Then one day Guru Maharaj was strolling on the roof just after having taken his afternoon food. In this book, Guru Maharaj means Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, means the Guru of Srila Srila Maharaj. So one day Guru Maharaj was strolling on the roof just after having taken his afternoon food. Generally, he did not take any food at night. I just approached it and took my stand in a corner. One man was attending him. Guru Maharaj asked, "Has he something to say?" The attending person came and asked me, "Have you something to say?" "No, I have nothing to say." He went back. He says he has nothing to say. Then Guru Maharaj said, "He has something to ask?" He again came to me and said, Guru Maharaj said, "Have you got something to ask?" "No, I have nothing to ask." He again returned to Guru Maharaj. He says he has nothing to ask. Then again Guru Maharaj put, "He has got some purpose in mind for coming here." The person returned to me. I said, "Yes, without purpose no incident can happen. When I have come, I have some purpose." "What purpose?" "To gain the grace of you all." That was my answer. Nothing else but that. Perhaps that touched Guru Maharaj. He approached me and inquired from me who I was, what I did, where was my home, and so on. And then he said, "Yes, you are fortunate. You are born in the area of Gaura Mandal." They had one booklet printed then, and the attending person said, "Guru Maharaj is offering you this booklet." I said, "I already have it." He said, that does not matter. With his good will, he's giving this to you, so it is something else. You take it." Then I took it on my head and accepted it. That was the first talk with Guru Maharaj. The following year, I was invited to Srimad Mahaprabhu's appearing ceremony at Mayapur. At that time, I was visiting the mat and hearing. I went there for the ceremony. At that time, my mother also was inviting me to the village Gumo, where she was staying with my second brother. She wanted to see me before going to Haridwar. And the Gaudiya Math people were also inviting me to Mayapur. I was in a dilemma. What to do? It was my mother's call, and maybe the last. She might not leave. Her health was not good. This was the call, and I thought, I want to take this side in my life. So this side must be given preference. That is the Gaudiya Math instead. From their talks, in general, I found that they do not care for the opinion of anyone else. But when anything is quoted from a scripture, they give a patient hearing. This was their nature. Summarily, they reject all. They don't care for anyone, but they care only for a scriptural truth that they soberly consider and evaluate. But with abhorrence, they reject so many stalwarts of the then society. This Aurobindo, this Gandhi, this Ramakrishna, these Goswamis, they summarily reject them all. But Mahaprabhu, Bhagavan, Gita, they are all in all. I had an attraction and taste for them. I could identify with them. Still, there was some sort of objection. One was that Guru Maharaj comes from a Kayasta family that is considered Shudra, and I come from a Brahmana Pandit's family of great honor in the society. Ostensibly, any Brahmana should have been suitable. In this way, some sort of objection was felt in me. Then, when I went to Mayapur, I again saw many things that touched me. Srila Prabhupada was delivering a lecture to so many gentlemen who had come from Krishna Nagar, educated persons. In another place, the elderly Sripad Bhakti Pradip Tirtha Maharaj was giving a lecture. Somewhere else, Sripad Bhakti Svarupa Parbat Maharaj was found writing receipts, collecting funds from the people. It was a hive of activity. I felt a transcendental, happy atmosphere there. When the celebration was over, Guru Maharaj was sitting in a canvas chair on the bertha of his room, and many persons were offering him obeisances and going home. At that time he was speaking, giving some discourse. I was always very eager to hear him. He was saying, "Don't cheat me, you people." I was alert. What? Where was the question of cheating him? Why cheating? Everyone was invited. They came, and now they're leaving. What was his point about cheating? Then the next thing he said was, "You all came with the understanding that you will engage yourselves in the service of Krishna, and so I have entered into some relationship with you. And now, only as a fashion, you have attended this ceremony, and you're going home to engage yourselves in worldly affairs. But your assurance to me was that you would all serve Krishna, but disappointed." Then he continued, "You may say, 'Oh, I've got some important business, and after finishing this, I shall come and join you as soon as possible.' But no. If you tell me there is just a little fire, and after extinguishing the fire you will return, then I say that is also not necessary. If fire burns the whole world, you do not lose anything. Rather, you are sparred if you can disconnect from those things that are burned. All your positive engagement, your inner hankering, has corresponding things in Krishna. All your necessities and hankering will be satisfied in the service of the holy lotus feet of Krishna, and nowhere else." He was speaking so forcefully. I was wonderstruck. I thought, I will never hear anywhere in this living world such intense necessity for Krishna Vajana, so I must throw my head there. It was then that I took the decision that I must be a disciple here. Jaya Centenarian Anthology, Pastimes, Glories and Teachings of Srila Sridhar Maharaj. Ki Jai. Now we're reaching a point in the book where we're also hearing about the personality of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, forcefully preaching Krishna consciousness to the jivas. And that was the point where when Srila Srila Maharaj decided to take shelter there. Jai. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha Gopal Govinda Ram Shimadosudana Giridhari Gopinata Madana Mohana Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Rupa Sanatana Vata Raghunata Shri Jiva Gopala Vata Dasa Raghunata Echai Gosai Kori Charana Vandana Jaha Hoite Vignana Shavishta Purana Echai Gosai Jaramu Itarada Satasa Varapada Renu Mora Panchagrasa Tadera Charana Sevi Vaktasaneva Janame Mora Avilasha Echai Gosai Jave Vrajikoila Vasa Ratha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakasha Anande Volohari Vajavrindavana Shri Guru Vaishnava Pare Majai Jamana Shri Guru Vaishnava Parapadma Koriya Shahari Nama Sankirtana Kohe Narottama Dasa Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Jami Subhashila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jami Subhashila Bhakti Rakashira Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jami Subhad Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. Jai Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga ki Jai. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna ki Jai. Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mission ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Maharaja Vrinda ki Jai. Vaishnava Mandala ki Jai. Kaur Kartos ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. The month of Kartika ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari.